This is my lesson 2 reflection. I presented this lesson to a small group on 9/30/2025. My mentor teacher is Mrs. Bales. My grade level is 3rd grade. The book that I covered in this lesson is called Iris and Walter, which is written by Alyssa Guest. The number of students that I presented this lesson to is 3. The targeted skills during this lesson include fluency, prosody, comprehension, and vocabulary. In this reflection, I will be identifying some strengths, weaknesses, and changes I would make if I were to represent this lesson. First, starting off with our strengths. One strength I witnessed during my lesson was my students' engagement and motivation to learn. After last week's lesson, students were asking if we could meet again to get more practice reading and developing their comprehension skills. This made me feel like I created an effective lesson last week. Students were engaged, encouraged, and motivated to keep practicing. During this lesson, students were actively involved answering questions, as well as asking questions to help strengthen their understanding. Another strength from my lesson this week was the comprehension questions I asked during the read aloud. I ensured to add critical thinking questions that required students to think past a one or two sentence response. This also entailed using textual evidence to support their response. Now looking at some weaknesses. One weakness I noticed after the completion of my lesson is my students had a few different times during the lesson where they were distracted due to the events going on outside of our group. This included other classes walking by, students in another group down the hall, or seeing a friend walk by. In my future lessons, I plan to combat this issue by finding a new space where students will not be distracted by outside noise and or events. I believe I can utilize our college classroom area for small groups instead of the common area between the 2nd and 3rd grade to find a more suitable environment for the students to learn. So again, some changes that I would make: the location of where my small group would meet. This would help me prevent students from being distracted during the lesson. Another change I would like to try is adding a fun activity at the end of the lesson. So one strategy I have would be utilizing Reader's Theater. I believe the students get an opportunity to participate in a Reader's Theater would be both fun and educational for the students. This would also boost student engagement as well as understanding the text by acting out the events in the story.